Good morning. Nowadays, public transportation is one of the most important parts of people's life. There will be very good impact to the country and society if people use public transportation more. Today, I want to describe for you why there are more advantages of using public transportation services and how people benefit public transportation. First, I'll explain how public transportation help build a strong economy. Second, I will explain why public transportation will reduce overall consumption of oil and gasoline. And next, I will describe benefit of public transportation on relieve congestion and protect environment. Public transportation helps build a strong economy. Transportation is a backbone of a strong and prosperous economy, and investment in public transportation generate significant economic benefit. Investing in public transportation is good for business. According to the Cambridge Systematic Review, every $10 million in capital investment in public transportation yield $30 million in increased business sales, and that every $10 million in operating investment in public transportation yield $32 million in increased business sales. Public transportation can create and sustain employment. Public transportation is also good for American workers and their companies. According to the Federal Highway Administration, every $1 billion of federal investment in the nation's transportation infrastructure support and create 47,500 jobs. These include durable and non-durable manufacturing jobs, as well as jobs in non-manufacturing industries such as insurance, construction, finance, real estate, retail, and wholesale trade and services. Public transportation enhance personal economic opportunity and save individual money. Savings with public transportation are substantial. They add up for everyone. Every $10 million invested in public transportation saves more than $50 million for both highway and transit users. Americans living in areas served by public transportation save $18 billion annually in congestion costs. Transit riders also save about $1,400 in gas per year. In addition, transit availability can reduce the need for an additional car, a yearly expense of $6,051 in a household budget. Perhaps the best kept secret is that public transportation can achieve significant energy saving each year. According to the ICF International, public transportation used in the U.S. saves 4 billion gallons of gasoline, representing 4 million gallons of gasoline per day, the equivalent of 34 supertankers of oil or supertankers leaving the Middle East every 11 days. The equivalent of 300,000 fewer automobile fills up each year. Public transportation reduces U.S. petroleum consumption by a total of 1.4 billion gallons of gasoline annually. Another aspect of public transportation is relieves congestion. Mobility, freedom, and ability to travel has always been an important part of American lifestyle. In addition, traffic congestion is having an increasingly debilitating effect on our quality of life. According to the most recent Texas Transportation Institute report on congestion in the top 85 cities in the U.S., Congestion caused 3.7 billion hours of travel delay and 2.3 billion gallons of wasted fuel in 2003. The study found that the average annual delay per traveler climbed from 60 hours in 1982 to 47 hours in 2003. Public transportation role in reducing traffic congestion is significant. Without public transportation, travel delay in 2003 would have increased by 27%. The TTI report states that public transportation services in America's most congested cities save travelers 1.1 billion hours of added travel time. Public transportation protects the environment, improve air quality and health. Increased investment in and use of public transportation can directly improve and protect the personal health of all people. Our car-centered transportation system has led to pollution and poor air quality. Emissions from a road vehicle are the largest contributor to asthma. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, asthma attack led to 2 million emergency room visits and 5,000 deaths per day in the U.S. Asthma accounted for more than 14 million missed school days. In terms of related healthcare costs and lost productivity, asthma costs total $14 billion. Public transportation produces 95% less carbon monoxide, 90% less in volatile organic compounds, and about half as much carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide per passenger miles as private vehicle. Public transportation system can play a vital role in creating a healthier nation. Providing significant environmental benefit by reducing smog, producing pollutant greenhouse gases, and runoff from paved surfaces that degrade the water supply, and by conserving ecologically sensitive land and open space, public transportation is helping to meet national air quality standards. Increased use of public transportation could have an ever greater impact in the future. In addition to reduced pollution, direct health benefits of public transportation include lower rates of respiratory and heart disease, lower accident rates, and increased quality of life. In terms of quality of life, public transportation encourages more people to walk, bike, and jog to transit stop. An analysis of 2001 National Household Travel Survey data for transit users find out walking to and from transit helps inactive person attain a significant portion of the recommended minimum daily exercise they need. 29% of respondents get 30 minutes or more of exercise a day from walking to from transit. In conclusion, public transportation should be used by people more. It is possible to increase the use of public transportation. I think city officials and politicians can lead the way by utilizing this form of transportation themselves and bringing about change through personal example. Then I think more citizens will follow suit, and all people may help to live in a cleaner, less polluted, and safe environment.
Jenny, what did you think?
I felt like the speech was more of an informative type, and there wasn't really any solutions that were like spoken out. And you weren't really like talking to us. You were just merely glancing at the back and forth. I think it was great here, but I think you spoke pretty well. Thank you.
All right, well, I thought there's a lot of content in the speech, so you've got a lot of information that you've got in the presentation. I thought that was pretty effective. Your research was extensive, and you cited it very appropriately. You had a good preview at the beginning of the speech about what the supporting structure was going to be and how you were going to do this. I agree a little bit with what Jenny said. I thought that sometimes it sounded like it's an informative presentation, and I think one of the things that's missing is a little bit more focus on why this audience, for instance, should be using public transportation. I think you kind of keep it at a general level about what the benefits of public transportation are instead of bringing it down to a more personal level. And that's the other drawback that I saw in the presentation, is that you don't get very much emotional involvement in it. There's not really a way that the audience is being asked to connect with this. It's more kind of an intellectual evaluation of what the benefits of public transportation are. And you've got some good statistical information there about what the trade-off on jobs is, or how much economic activity it's going to produce, or those sorts of things. But I think one of the things, for example, you had that whole section where you're talking about congestion, and I think this is a great place for somebody to use an example about somebody who, even if it's a personal example in this situation, about what traffic can do to people, how difficult congestion is on somebody's life. It's not just reducing it to the number of hours a week that people use or are on the road, or a month or a year, or even that sort of thing, that it's somebody's life, and you want to get people to kind of connect with that. So this is where we could use a visualization of what somebody's experience is like, and probably a pretty negative visualization too. Imagine yourself being on the road for an hour and a half driving to work. How many times did you get cut off? How many times did you scream at somebody who did something that was irritating to you? There are only so many times you can listen to the same music on the radio. You don't have a chance to relax and think about your day because you're trying to pay attention to what's going on. And you do that for an hour and a half, and then you show up to work. And what kind of mood does that put you in? That's not going to be a very good mood. But wait, it's not done yet, because at the end of the day, you now have to return home. And guess what? You're going through the same process again. What kind of consequence can it have to your family? You get home after doing this, you want to scream at your kids, or yell at your husband, or just ignore everybody in some way, shape, or form, and that's all because you had to get behind the wheel of a car and try and drive through traffic in order to get to work. Whereas if you'd gotten on the bus, if you'd taken the subway, if you'd gotten on the train, if you'd done any of these public transportation things, you would have been so much less stressed. So it's like you've got the basics of the logos down here. There's just not much pathos in the presentation at all. I also thought that it was a little problematic because at the beginning there's not really much of an attention device. We just basically dive right into, this is like an essay. Here's my essay on this particular subject, and I think you're missing one of those things that we talked about at the beginning, an opportunity to connect with the audience. I thought your delivery was okay. I think you're doing a good job. Look, we understand there's a language difference here, and so you're a little more dependent on the notes than you want to be. I thought you did try to keep looking up. You never get into the point where you are just talking to us about what's going on. It's always, you remember to look up and notice that we were there, but it's never as if you're engaged in a conversation with us. It's always this, I'm looking at my notes now, let me make sure that you guys are all still paying attention to me, and then you look down again. And you need to feel a little bit more engaged, I think, at this point. All right, thank you. Well, let's see. We could just go through this. Eduardo, are you here? Not here. Enrique, you here? Are you ready? Not here. Brooklyn, not here. Joe, not here. Diva, not here. Alondra, not here. Tiffany,